Good morning, everybody. My name is Carol Elliott, and I welcome you today to Unity New Braunfels. Time to be holy. It's on page 77 in the Winds of Song. And so if you feel like standing up and singing along, you can, or if you want to just sing seated, you may. Before I start, though, I wanted to read you something that someone gave me years ago, and I just love it. And the last line of this song reminds me of this saying. And the saying is, live in such a way that those who know you but don't know God will come to know God because they know you. So please join me with Take Time to Be Holy. It's page 77, or you can read the lyrics on the screen. Take time to be holy. Speak oft with thy Lord. Abide in him always and feed on his word. Make friends with God's children. Help those who are weak, forgetting in nothing His blessing to see. Take time to be holy. Be calm in thy soul. Each thought and each motive beneath his control. Thus led by his Spirit, like him thou shalt be. Friends in thy conduct, his likeness to see.
Good morning. So glad to see all of you. Welcome. Welcome to those that are joining us online. And to anyone that is here for the first time, welcome. And if comfortable during the service, we'd like to get to know a little bit more about you. My name is Stephen Cleverly. I am your prayer chaplain today. Also, I am co-platform assistant along with the very lovely Cynthia Smith. And we will have the pleasure later today, or later this in the service, of getting our message from the Honorable Reverend Judy Beach. And some of you know her. And we all know we're going to be in for a treat with her. So if you would please join me in the opening prayer. If you're comfortable, close your eyes and find that center spot in you where that God spark lives, that Christ spark lives. And may these words be your words. I am the presence of pure being, emanating the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am all that God is expressing at this point of me. As I express divine wisdom, all thoughts of mortal limitations have no power over me. I am the substance and the power of pure love, bringing into manifestation my world according to divine law. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Unity is a spiritual community that fosters personal transformation for healing, wholeness, and an intimate connection with the divine. We do this through affirmative prayer and meditation that opens us to realize our divine nature. Unity believes all people are divine and equal without exception. Unity provides a safe space for spiritual growth without judgment, where you can be yourself. We honor the light that lives in all religious and spiritual traditions, for we know that the light in them is the light in us. We call this light God. We know that what we imagine and what we believe and what we say creates our experience. And when we say what we believe with conviction, it ignites a powerful force in the world. Let's say this great truth with conviction together. There is only one presence, one power, active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent.
And our daily word today is healing. And if you would join me in saying the affirmation 3 times together. Divine life lives as me. I am whole and well. Divine life lives as me. I am whole and well. Divine life lives as me. I am whole and well.
All right, everybody, if you have a cell phone or a smartwatch, please send them into the silence. They will get their messages as we get ours.
And our vision statement, this vision statement is one that is also been adopted by the home church, our home base. And if you would repeat with me, the vision, a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And we achieve that mission by applying our core values. And today, our core value is open-minded. Please repeat after me, with me. My mind and heart are open to unlimited possibilities.
Okay, our food drive is still continuing to be hugely successful thanks to all of you. And so we do urge that we continue to be hugely successful thanks to all of you by bringing food and putting it in the red barrel that's out in the foyer. And again, thank you, it is appreciated. And our sacred service volunteer this week, none other than Linda Gillespie. LUT, she's our licensed Unity teacher, prayer chaplain, and when we say prayer chaplain, she also is a co-leader in the prayer chaplain program, and she cleaned up the kitchen very nicely too. And if any of you have ever been in a refrigerator lately, it shines and sparkles thanks to Linda. Thank you, Linda. We appreciate you. We will hold Linda high in our heart and in the high watch for this next week. And when you see her, give her a big thank you, sacred service hug.
And we have some sacred service opportunities. With our growing youth ministry, we have 2 youth rooms. The babies, the unit kids in the wisdom room, and the unit teens YOU in the gratitude and prosperity room. And we need 2 adults in each room. If you are interested in helping, I believe we see Candace. Do we see Candace? Is Candace? Okay. Oh, she's in with them now. Or Gary when he returns.
And I do want to add, this is not an every Sunday commitment that you're making. The goal is to maybe have enough that you can do it 1 Sunday a month and rotate through the process. So give it some serious, prayerful consideration. I've done it before with Judy. It's a very rewarding sacred service. And we're going to have our congregational song, Ever in God's Presence by Warren Meyer. It's in the Wings of Song book, page 752, and Carol Elliott is going to sing it for us.
Well,
and we're going to join her.
Thank you. It's actually just page 52. I'm glad the hymn has 700 pages. I couldn't learn all those songs. Okay, well, y'all, if you feel like this is actually to the tune of an old hymn called On onward Christian soldiers. It goes like this. Ever in God's presence, I am filled with light, guided by His wisdom, I am led aright. There's no darkness in the Lord, He is holy pure. He is with me when I need Him, making me feel sure. Ever in God's infinite presence, I am totally free. I am always joyful in God's harmony. Ever in God's presence, I am whole and free, charged with healing action. His life flows through me. Nothing is incurable. All things can be healed. Faith can remove mountains so that health can be revealed. I am in God's presence. I am totally free. I am always joyful in God's harmony. Last verse. Ever in God's presence, rich supply is mine. Overflowing substance comes from source divine. There is nothing I can lack in the Father's store. Everything I need is always ready to outpour. Ever in God's infinite presence, I am totally free. I am always joyful in God's harmony.
Well, if you can't tell by now, the clicker doesn't work for me like it doesn't work for Reverend Gary either. I'm going to pull the pin and throw it like a grenade. It is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Judy Beach. I would like to give you a little bit of background on her. She said, well, you don't have to read all that. It says, you wrote it out here, so it's important, and I think we all need to know who you are. So this is Reverend Judy. Reverend Judy Beach is an ordained Unity minister. After graduating from Unity Institute and Seminary with a Master of Divinity degree in June 2016, she served as a senior minister in Corpus Christi, Texas. Reverend Judy is served as a licensed Unity teacher here in Unity of New Braunfels. She is a certified Q coach, a healthy congregation coach, and served as a Unity Worldwide Ministry wellness consultant. Reverend Judy has spoken at numerous Unity communities. Prior to entering ministry, she consulted and facilitated various corporations in change management and leadership development. She is a native Texan. Her mission is to grow and inspire herself and others to live a life of joy, freedom, and excellence. And with that, would you please give Reverend Judy Beach a wonderful Unity of New Braunfels welcome.
It's kind of like coming home a bit because I started here in this church in 2005. So I became a licensed Unity teacher here. And one of my first volunteer jobs was the Unitots. And so you see people like Christopher, he used to be a Unitot. So it's been a while. And it's always been special place in my heart, this church. And so thank you for having me back or here. And I want to tell you a little bit about not just my journey, but our journey. So as Steve mentioned, I went to seminary, and I had the great privilege and honor of living at Unity Village for 3 years to attend seminary. It was a great experience to live on those sacred grounds and interact with my classmates and have faculty like some of the names you've heard before, like Reverend Robert Brummett and Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. And I missed my home, which was still here with my husband, Steve. So some of you know Steve Beach. He stood behind me and with me for all these years. And he's here, of course, today. He's my driver. So I missed home, and I would talk on the phone with Steve at least twice a day. I'd come home to visit when I could. I thought how nice it would be to be home, hug my puppy, have my own kitchen, have dinner, etc. And when I finally got to come home, not finally, that sounds like something else, but Marty, is there something I need to do with this microphone? Bring it down. Excuse us while we have a little technical work there. When I did move home, in preparation of that, I packed up all of my books. You won't believe all the books you gather 3 years in seminary. My clothes, they were all winter clothes because it's cold up there. And myself, I had great ideas about how perfect it would be to be home, get my study all set up with the things I brought. And I wasn't seeing the house the same way. You ever have that happen? It was interesting. And I started noticing there were some things that didn't serve me well. For instance, let's see if I can move this. You wonder maybe where this talk came from. Tea bags. My tea bags were on the opposite side of the kitchen from the water and the teapot. Who would do such a thing? Didn't serve me well. I started seeing a lot of things. Didn't serve me well. I started getting some anxiety because, not only do I need to move the tea bags, but I've got these books to set up. I've got these messages to put together. I have emails to write. I have meals. Now I have meals to cook. And when am I going to sleep? I'm too busy. I got caught up in this busyness wave. Have you ever done that? Yeah. So it's almost an epidemic, isn't it? We get caught up in our doingness. We get stopped at a light. We check our phones. We ask somebody, how are you doing? I'm busy. And it goes from I'm busy to I'm crazy busy. And it's almost like a badge of honor that we have. I'm busy. I'm important. And what's our usual response? Oh, me too. Oh, honey, and it's sympathetic. It's reassuring. It's also depressing. Jackie Woodsize calls this busy the new rich. People call and ask, are you busy? Well, of course I am. I'm important. I've got to be busy. But it can also be like an addiction. that we get caught up in this. And we begin to fill every single moment with something to do or something we should be doing, like moving the tea bags. We tackle our to-do list like it's a monster that we have to get control of. There's a documentary that was done by Cassidy Hall called Pursuit of Silence, and he said, quote, "We're consumed by our phones, computers, television, technology, work, busyness itself. So much so that there's nothing left of us for the solitude, space, and silence for which we were designed. Our days are so marked by modern days, life's measurements like likes, comments, measurements that are outside of us. Yeah. So our society even tells us only a busy life is successful and productive. While research tells us something else. What happened to us? What happened? Did we buy into that story about idleness is the devil's workshop? Anybody heard of that one? How about the ant and the grasshopper? Yep. So here I am standing in my kitchen with the tea bags on the other side of the kitchen, and I was feeling this sense of lack, this anxiety, this sense of I'm not enough, I'm not organized enough, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy. And then I remembered a story from the Bible. The story of Martha, Mary, and Jesus in Luke 10:38 through 42. And some of you may remember this story. I'm going to read it quickly. Now, as they went on their way, he, meaning Jesus, entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary who sat at Lord's feet and listened to what he was saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to him and asked, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself?" Nobody else has said that, right? "Tell her then to help me." But the Lord answered, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is only need of one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her." Martha's a busy woman. Not only is she providing hospitality to Jesus, but also he probably brought at least 12 of his friends. Jesus is a token of love, but this is a dangerous situation because he's near Jerusalem, if you remember the context of this story, and has already been challenged by authorities. So we take this story and not look at it from the characters of Martha and Mary. I had someone come up to me this morning and say, "Please help me understand Martha. How could I be empathetic with Martha? This is a woman who's so busy all the time." Anyway, we got through that. So looking at it not as characters like one's doing the right thing and the other one's doing the wrong thing, but look at it from a metaphysical perspective. So in Charles Fillmore's Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, wrote, "Martha represents the outer activity of the soul and is receiving the higher self. And Mary represents the inner or soul receptivity." So Martha is showing her love by service. Mary is showing hers by learning at Jesus' feet. Both of these are necessary for spiritual growth. Both are. There's no animosity in this story at all. But we should take heed that in our desire to serve, we do not forget our times of communion with the indwelling God. We should not set our values higher on service than on the quiet, loving receptivity of spirit, of truth that's within us. Jesus' feet metaphysically represents the soul as learning the lessons of life from the higher self. So you can get that. The feet connect with the earthly concerns and from a heavenly perspective, a higher perspective. So when these lessons are learned, are given first place in consciousness, the activity of service that follows becomes simple and easy. But Martha, her serving quality is given precedence. And then there's this anxiety and irritation because there's a seeming separation from the source of love and peace and joy. Make sense? So, both of the sisters are good and useful aspects. They're both friends of Jesus, the spiritual teacher. They're both serving spiritual consciousness. So, Martha, demanding her duties to be given first place, has the spiritual teacher, our way shower, Jesus, point out that Mary, the interactivity, is to be given attention so that we can be receptive to the lessons from the higher self. And that part of Martha, Martha, that's Jesus expressing a deep concern for her. It's not like Martha, Martha. It's Martha, Martha. You are worried and distracted by many things. I was curious about, because I'm kind of a Bible geek, I was curious about the Greek words here because the Bible, the Christian scriptures were written in Greek originally. And then now we read it in English, but and sometimes read it, sometimes people do more things with it. But actually, the Greek word here for distracted is perseispao, which means, you don't have to remember that. It means to draw away. Or, here's a more interesting aspect of it, or drag around. You ever felt dragged around by your doingness? Martha's being drawn away from the present with her outer activity. And even though that word sounds a little bit benign, like distracted, it's really more active and more harmful and moving more toward the aspect of unwholeness, which what are we about here? We're about wholeness, right? And that's what Jesus was about. That's what these teachings are about, is one thing is needful, the wholeness. He's speaking to our oneness, staying connected to that oneness. And this is consistent with our first unity principle, that we're never separated from God, that God is one presence and one power. Any sense of lack is in our consciousness. So the next time someone tells you how busy they are, maybe we could respond from not a place of, oh yeah, you ought to see my calendar, but from a place of your wholeness, of actually being with that person. From our second principle, that there is divinity in every single human being. Something might change. Something might shift. And you might even respond with, wow, that sounds like a full day. Have fun. What if you said that to yourself? What if I'd said that, and I did eventually say it, about the tea bags? So our balance of inner and outer activity is needed to realize God is always present. There's a Taoist saying that says, "To the mind that is still, the world surrenders." So we still our mind. We take a few moments of prayer, breathing to disrupt the pattern that we're in of busyness. Take a walk, take a nap. Here's another thing about the Bible that I want to bring forth is that this story is only in Luke. And why is that? The synoptic gospels, Matthew and Luke, were based on Mark. And then Matthew wrote from Mark, and Luke wrote from Mark. But this story, Luke wrote for a different audience. Luke wrote from the perspective of a more cosmopolitan audience, an audience as they were in the year around 88. So this is now a place that appealing to Gentiles and Jews was more important. So this story is taking place in the first century, and there were some things going on like cultural norms, traditional roles. And I just want to take this just one step forward and talk about this story is actually a stunning example of the teaching where Jesus ignored religious and societal definitions. Rebel, breaker of those traditions in favor of wholeness and humanity. Challenging that status quo of traditional roles, cultural norms of the first century. We have that opportunity now too, don't we? Of our own expectations of ourselves. I see this, people hurling expectations on top of other people. Really? So we talk about our mission. I think we skipped that slide earlier. But the mission here, as I read it on the website, was acknowledging the divinity within. We welcome and empower all through fellowship, education, and service to our community and the world, which requires, guess what? Anybody have an idea? It requires bringing our Christ nature forward. So when we're feeling that sense of separation, when we're faced with expectations outside our principle of oneness, when I'm standing in the kitchen seeing these gaps in efficiency, recognize that it's not about doing more outer things. It's about or going even back to the old ways, or even settling for things as they are. It's not about the tea bags. It's about that balance of outer and inner activity. It's about challenging some of this status quo so that we can realize and share our oneness and wholeness with others. That's the way we're going to achieve this mission. Integrating our highest self every day, no matter if the tea bags are on the other side of the kitchen. Are we living our lives in this world from our oneness with God? Are we living in balance with a spiritual understanding from both the inner and the outer work? And can we please stop using the word busy? Can we live in the understanding of what it means to be human? Can we live in favor of wholeness and humanity within ourselves and others? And let's remember, if feeling this sense because we're not really ever separate. But if we're having this sense of separation, of lack, of anxiety, irritation, can we just stop and say, Martha, Martha, it's not about the tea bags. And so it is. So that's a tea field. So I've gone from the tea bags to the tea field. I wanted y'all to understand that. Before we go into meditation, I want to no, are we going to do meditation next? Okay, we're going to do meditation. Here we go. So I'm going to invite you, this is our time where we get quiet. We allow ourselves to just remove anything from your laps and your hands and begin to center yourself. And this point that we were talking about, this inner receptivity. Just allow your body to relax. Let the back of your chair support you. Feel your feet on the floor, your hands open. Allowing your eyes to close. Just entering that space of quiet and inner receptivity. Allowing that music to fill your heart. And breathing in deeply into your heart space. Feeling that heart space open up. Any thoughts or concerns that appear, just allow them to be like feathers floating away and up and away. There's no effort. Feeling that breath flow through each and every cell of your body, creating space, creating openness, feeling love, deep appreciation for this now moment, this gratitude. Knowing that this is the moment. This is the moment that you allow Spirit in. And you're finally at this place where every single muscle relaxes. And as we are in this space of quiet, inner receptivity, we begin to realize that we are moving into a place of silence. And we affirm that. We open to that. There's one more breath in, and we release and be in the silence. And now, as you ever so gently begin to move back into this time and space, gently, maybe even move your hands a bit, maybe even move your head a bit, maybe even rub your feet on the floor. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Let's move into this place of outer activity at this point. Did everyone get a little note card? If you did not, please raise your hand, and Deb has one for you. So sometimes people give us affirmations. This is my little heart on the side for all y'all. So I'm going to invite you to write your own affirmation. Out of what you've heard this morning, what is your affirmation to take this lesson, this message, into your life? I'll give you a moment to write that. And then the second aspect of this is to write one small step, baby step, that you will take this week using this message. And Steve is going to guide us through a prayer, and Carol has a song to follow up with that. And I invite you to complete these forms as you need through that. And then in a little bit, we're going to address them again. Okay, thank you.
And another big thank you to Reverend Judy, please.
Thank you.
Why don't we repeat the affirmation 3 times? It goes along with Reverend Judy's message today, okay? It's not about the tea bag.
I'm going to stand up.
It's not
It's not about the...
It's not about the tea bags. All right. Reverend Judy mentioned that the Bible was translated into Greek first, and it went into Latin and into King James. It all came about from the beginning, from the Hebrew and the Aramaic, and through the translation of the Lord's Prayer, it got broken down into a prayer of supplementation as opposed to a joyous prayer. This is the original translation from Aramaic to English, and if we can repeat it together: Father, Mother, birther, and breath of all, create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Let oneness now prevail. No. Your one desire flows through ours as energy fills all forms. All right, we'll go here. Untangle the knots of air that bind us as we release others. Oh. And we're going to have special music with Carol Elliott. Thank you, Carol. You're on now.
Okay. Well, when I was kind of ambitious to become a professional songwriter, I moved from Atlanta. I'd been a street singer out in San Francisco after college. My parents were so proud. And but I moved up to Nashville to try and become a songwriter. This song is one that I wrote after, some failures, things not going like I had planned, but you have to keep trying. It's called Try, Try Again. I've been tested by fire till I'm down to ashes. All that's left of my hope is smoke on the wind. And I'd like to give up, but my pride says no quitting. You just pick yourself up and try again. I have dreamed of success. I have sought recognition. I have catered my art. I have waited for praise, reeling back in defeat. I said to hell with ambition. I just picked myself up and I tried again. Nobody said it was easy, but I didn't understand hard till I was down on my knees in the darkness, praying, dear God. No one thinks they're fool or admits they're a loser, but until you've been both, you never stood on your own. Every pain has its worth. It's a very good teacher. Taught me to pick myself up and try again. You just pick yourself up and try again.
Thank you, Carol. Do we have any first-time guests here today? If you'd like to introduce yourself, is my mic working? Okay. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey folks, my name is Bob, and I'm visiting my daughter and family here from Blacksburg, Virginia, in the Roanoke Valley Unity.
Welcome. Anybody else? I thought I saw. There we go. All right, we got the gang in the back here. All righty. Welcome.
I'm Renee.
Hi, Renee.
Yeah, I just moved here.
Excellent.
Yes.
From?
Fort Worth.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Welcome. Anybody else? All right. We will help you with your social anxiety. We are loving here. All right. We do like to bless in this church. So if we would all rub our hands together. Dear friends, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. Namaste. And we'd like to welcome our online viewers. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you'd like to turn around, wave to the camera, say hello. We appreciate your presence. Thank you.
This is the time that we have to choose what we have to give, whether it's in the form of a tithe or a love offering or a gratitude, a prayer, whatever. Please hold it to your heart. And when we get after the affirmation, we're going to have our walk of abundance. Now, those that are visiting here for the first time, your presence is enough. We want you to please join the walk of abundance and come up and get an affirmation. Get one for yourself and one for, or several for people during the week. So if you would join me in this affirmation of giving. Through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And if you would join me now in the walk of abundance, please. And if you would join me in blessing this offering with a grateful heart. We are thankful for all the gifts that have been presented today, not only in the shiny copper bowl, but in your heart that you brought with you. Also, we would like to bless the prayers that are out in the prayer box in the foyer, knowing that they were already answered before they even made it into the box. We give thanks for all of that, and so it is. Amen. As a reminder, in case you missed it in the first part of the service, I'm Steve Cleverly. I am your prayer chaplain on duty today. And if you have a prayerful need, I will be at your service at one of the front pews here after the service. So please come and see me.
Wednesday is our Unity Prayer Service. It goes on from 12:15 to 12:45 here in the sanctuary. It's a half-hour guided meditation. There is a delicious lunch offered before for a love offering. We usually meet around 11:45, that half hour before the meditation, and visit and eat and then enjoy the meditation. It's a really nice midweek break.
And Family Promise. We are going to be a host church for October 15th to the 22nd. A wonderful, wonderful sacred service. If you've had an inkling to want to do something but not commit to a regular regime, Family Promise is a way to do it. It happens 3-4 times a year, and we're needing people that will either supply dinner and eat with the families, or stay overnight. We need 2 people for each night for dinner and for staying over. They don't have to be the same 2 people. For those not familiar with Family Promise, a group of churches in the area support a family or 2 that are struggling to get on their feet and get jobs and cars and houses and get their life together. So they stay in the church during the night and eat, and then go out during the day and try to fulfill their mission, and with the help of Family Promise. And it's been hugely successful in placing families. So please give this a thought. And there are sign-ups out there in the foyer.
First Friday Coffee House Concert, October 6th, which is a week from Friday, with Carol Elliott, yay, and Joe Reyes. Refreshments will be at 6:30, and the concert will be from 7 to 8 p.m. We hope you'll join us here for that concert.
And next Sunday is Potluck Sunday, first Sunday of the month. Potluck Sunday, always nice. A through I main dish, J through R sides and salads, and S through Z dessert. And we all know that really this is just a suggestion. However, if there's a special dish that you wish to make that doesn't fall in your category, make it anyways and bring it.
Oh, I'm so happy I get to do this slide. The annual pet blessing will be October 15th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. in the front portico. So feel free to bring your furry loved ones by.
And if you can't physically bring your pet, bring a picture. That works too. And this is something near and dear to my heart. I have been a prayer chaplain since our program, the new program started here. I'm going on like 4 years. It has been a very rewarding program. And the reason I got into it is because I didn't know how to pray. So I figured if I become a prayer chaplain, I'd be taught. And it had been more than that for me. We are going to be holding our prayer chaplain training retreat. If you have a calling at all and thinking about being a prayer chaplain, first off, you must be a member for 1 year. And if you meet that qualification, please either see Linda Gillespie, Reverend Sonder, myself, Reverend Gary. Deb Thomas is here, Wes Morrison is here. They're both prayer chaplains. See one of us, and let us help familiarize. We would love to have you join the program. It is very rewarding, much more so than you ever think. And special music with Carol Elliott.
Well,
thank you
so much. I'm glad to know I'm playing here at the coffee house. I wasn't sure. They talked about it. Rudy actually played last week. Well, it was a couple weeks ago on a Saturday night, and the word hadn't really gotten out yet. And so we talked about it a little bit and decided maybe Friday would be a better night for people to come out, and to make it earlier and more of a coffee house, like take the pressure off. Instead of feeling like, oh, I got to go sit in a pew and listen to somebody and not move a muscle, we want people to feel welcome to just bring some cookies if you feel like it. There'll be coffee and tea here. They'll be providing dessert, so you could have dinner and then come on over and have some dessert. And you could even sit out there. You don't have to, be in here to hear the music. But I will be playing with Joe Reyes, who is from San Antonio, and a lot of people knew him when he was in a duo called Laura and Reyes. They played flamenco music. But Joe's a Grammy Award-winning producer, and he just finished my new album. And I didn't really mean to make this a commercial break, but I didn't realize that they were going to have me for sure. We were still kind of determining some stuff. So I hope y'all can come. I think it's going to be $10 a ticket. And I had suggested anybody brought the couple volunteers that bring the brownies or whatever could get in free. And but we want to make it a regular thing and get some really quality musicians in here. And I'll be playing songs from my new album, which is called Survival Machine. And it's kind of different from what I play in here. Here's a song I wrote with Dave Olney back in Nashville. It goes, love is that near, love is that close. Like the sea to the shore, bird to the sky, wind to the rain, light in your eye, like the snow on a hill, the dew on a rose. Love is that near, love is that close. Like a whippoorwill's at twilight, crickets in the trees, smile on your face, autumn in the breeze, like the memory of spring when the winter wind blows. Love is that near, love is that close. Close as a fire to the cold, near as a heart to a soul, and forever and ever it grows. Sunlight and shadow, soft on your skin, the beat of your heart and the touch of your hand. And whatever I do and wherever I go, love is that near, love is that close. Close as a fire to the cold, near as a heart to a soul, and forever and ever it grows. Sunlight and shadow, soft on your skin, the beat of your heart and the touch of your hand. And whatever I do and wherever I go, love is that near, love is that close. Love is that near, love is that close. Thank you.
Our live stream service. We wish those that are joining us either today or later in the week, Godspeed, bless you. We're glad that you're here. We love you. You're a very important part of this community. Thank you for joining us. Okay, cameras are off, so